Hey guys, and welcome back to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. So I was browsing Reddit the other day and I came across this post by Reddit user TurniDow. So full credit to him. Now this might be something you guys are aware of. I certainly wasn't, and I was like, okay, I have to try this out. So TurniDow says, public service announcement: you can transfer save data between two flash carts and real carts, vice versa, and between two identical carts using quick save and quick loading. Now I didn't know this. I've used the quick save and the quick load feature for certain games, whether I'm just doing it via some of the open FPGA calls, whether I'm using it on an actual cartridge or via a flash card. But what I didn't know is you could transfer the saves between your flash carts and actual cartridges, which is really handy. So we're going to put it through the test, see what kind of variations we can do. But this is really good, because if you've spent hours upon hours on your real carts and you just want to bring them over to your flash cart or vice versa, then you can do so. Let's have a look. We're going to test out a few games. We're going to test out a Game Boy Color and a Game Boy Advance game. So guys, before we get into the video, if you're not subscribed to the channel, then a subscription and a like is super appreciated. It really does help the channel. Anyway, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, here we are. So we're going to try Wario Land 2, Metal Gear Solid and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Revival. The flash carts we're going to try are Easy Flash, the Game Boy Advance EverDrive X5 and the X7. You see me push a card out there to the side. That's the Easy Flash tuner. It doesn't work. We're also going to try that cheap card you're seeing on the right called the Game Color GB, which is just a cheap one that I bought from AliExpress. So let's start with a Game Boy game. I've got to send a shout out to my cousin. I don't have a Game Boy Color game that uses a save file, so I popped around to his house and he was kind enough to let me borrow his copy of Metal Gear. So here you go. As you can see on the cartridge here, I've got a save. I think it's World 5 that we just saw on there. So let's go ahead and create that save. So now what we're going to try and do is get this save or this save state working over on our flash card, over on our EverDrive X7. Now remember, from what I understand, once you kind of load the save, what you want to do is you want to save normally in the game after, so you get that on your cartridge or your flash card. So let's go ahead and boot that up. Now I've edited some of this. I'm trying to do a voiceover. It's quite difficult. I'm not a script guy or anything like that, but I do try and time my stuff. But regardless of what I'm saying, keep an eye on the screen, because I'm showing you everything that I am doing. So that's the save state that we created on the actual cartridge, and now we're going to load it on our EverDrive. Does it work? Well, yes it does, and it works really well. Very impressed by this. Again, you guys may have known about this. I didn't know about this. So what I'm doing now is I'm loading up the EverDrive version of Wario Land 2 again, and I want to create a different save. And what I want to do with that save is I want to put that save on the cartridge, like the vice versa. I want to see if that actually works. And here we go. Let's just create it on the title screen like we've done there. And then we'll whack in the cart and see, well, how well it works, or if it works. Really surprised about this. I think this is really good. Very good progress so far. Let's see how we go in the game. I'm going to try like the cheaper carts as well. I did try some other stuff off camera. Like I can tell you, it doesn't work with GB Studio, and it didn't work with like replica games that I had. Sorry, my memory just takes me to open FPGA without thinking about it. Okay, so here we are. We are now going to try and load the save we created on the EverDrive on our actual cart. And here we go. So let's just load it up to level 5 there. Now, if it works, it should take us back to the title screen, and that's where we created our save. And bada bing, bada bo, profit. So that's really good. So I haven't played too many Pokemon games on the Game Boy. I played like Pokemon Yellow, but I don't have carts for them. So this might be a good way of preserving like your Pokemon games, or games you spent hundreds, or dozens of hours playing. So now we're going to try. This is just a cheap knockoff card that I bought. I bought it from AliExpress. It was like £25. I actually leave that one in my Game Boy DMG. It's only got Game Boy DMG games on it. The only Game Boy Color games it's got are games that work on the DMG and the Color. So here we are. We're loading Wario Land 2 again. Let's try and get that save going and see if it works on this cheap flash card. Okay, so let's go to the one that's in game a little bit. Right, okay, brilliant. It works even on this cheap knockoff EverDrive, which wasn't a fan of buying, but EverDrive's got really expensive for a while, and I wanted an additional one, and I only wanted it for my Game Boy DMG. And this one, this cart here, it just loads whatever you play to memory. But it's still decent. Obviously, EverDrives are the king. Like, all the tests and everything I've done, they work the best. But let's move on to the Game Boy Color now. Thanks again to my cousin for letting me borrow his Metal Gear Solid. He's a big Metal Gear fan. Absolutely loves the game, and this is one of his favorite. I think this is actually his favorite Game Boy game. So again, nice of him to let me borrow that for the purpose of this video. So let's boot this up. Now I think my cousin's got a save on there. So what we're going to do is we'll load up his save and we'll try and then load. Yeah, then we'll create a save state, and then we'll try and load that, or quick save, we'll try and load that on an actual flash card. Okay, so save created. Right, good stuff. Right, let's now, okay, let's go with the EverDrive. Now I've got Easy Flash Junior as well. It works on my Game Boy Color. I use that one on my Game Boy Color. I quite like that flash cart, but it doesn't work on the Analogue Pocket. I think there's a way of rolling back the firmware on there, but I'm really not too fussed about getting it to work on the Analogue Pocket. We've got so many other choices. So let's see if we can copy the cartridge save over to our EverDrive now. So the EverDrive, we've got obviously Game Boy and Game Boy Color games on there. So here we are, we've loaded Metal Gear on the EverDrive. And we're going to see if there's a save on there already. I don't think there is. Okay, so nothing. Continue, there's nothing there at this moment in time. So it's like a fresh game. It's probably the first time it's been loaded on this EverDrive. So let's see if we can load that. Bang, and it's loaded. We're there. So now we're just going to experiment a little bit here. Going to create a save state on the flash card and see if we can now put that hopefully on our cartridge. So the sound, the clicking sound of putting a cartridge in and taking it out, the Analogue Pocket does a really good job of it, just like on the original Game Boy. So hopefully with any joy we can get that quick save over to our cartridge. Again, I'm really impressed by this. Let me know in the comments below, did you already know about this? Am I just late to the party? Am I a guy that turns up at the end of the party when everyone's gone home? Because I might well be, but either way, it might help people that don't actually know about this. So let's try and load that save state that we created on our we're going to load both of them because I think during the video I forgot which one was which. So okay, that's the one we created on our EverDrive, and I think, yeah, let's load the other one up now and see if that works as well, which is the one we created on the cartridge. So we're good. Okay, so next up, let's go to OpenFPGA and try it. So here we are, we've loaded the Game Boy Color Core, and yeah, to be honest, like, let's try it over here, but I wasn't having much success. I wasn't having success with the Game Boy ones, with the Game Boy Color. It just wasn't working for me. If there's a way to get it to work, let me know, but as far as I know, it does not work, but I had to try it nonetheless. But yeah, no joy. It actually made Metal Gear Solid, it made the sound go funny when I did attempt to do this. Okay, so following that, I wanted to try it with the Game Boy version of Wario Land 2, just to see. I wasn't expecting anything after getting the results from Metal Gear for the Game Boy Color, but for experimentation, I wanted to try it, and I wanted to save state. I've got a save state there for Tetris. I tried even just pressing the button to see what happens, but yeah, it wasn't there. So I think the ones created in OpenFPGA remain in OpenFPGA, and the ones that you create for CARTS remain for the CARTS. Okay, so moving on to like the final kind of section of the test, let's go over to the Game Boy Advance. So we are trying Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Revival, the cartridge first, and we are trying, I have the European version of it, which I think's got a bug, something like if you try and fight Akuma, something goes wrong. I can't remember, but I really enjoyed this game on the Game Boy Advance. The worst thing about it was using the shoulder buttons to do moves. Not a big fan of that, but you can change that on the Analogue Pocket because you can map the shoulder buttons over to the face button, which definitely makes this game more enjoyable. Really like the filters as well. Now, if you pay attention here, at the bottom, survival and time attack are unlocked. I've unlocked them because I've played this cartridge. Now, we are going to go over, after creating the save state, we're going to go over to the EverDrive first. And we're going to see if we can. Now, I haven't played much of this Street Fighter using the EverDrive. So once we boot up the EverDrive, we put it in there. Let's get it going. Let's see again if we can just copy everything over and does it work? I really like the EverDrive's menu. I find it very, very snappy. Okay, so here we are. Right, once started, there we go. We haven't got those options at the bottom, so let's try and load the quick save that we created. Here we go. So do we get it? Do we get it? We got it. Nice. Okay, so this is excellent. This is really, really cool. So experimenting a little bit more. We're gonna try it the other way round now. Or actually, no. Before we do that, let's try the easy flash card. Before we spin it the other way around. Now, I like this card, but I find it's not as good as the EverDrive. So if you've got a choice, get the EverDrive. Easy Flash is a bit cheaper, but to be honest, nothing is that cheap anymore. I think even the Easy Flash costs like £50 plus. I think the EverDrive is like £100. So it is kind of half the price, but it's not as cheap as things used to be. Now, when I ran this, it just gave me an error. I kind of went off camera, adjusted the card a little bit, and I got it working. So I ran the European version of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Revival, and I tried doing it. Let's see what kind of result we get when I try and do the same thing that I've done on the EverDrive. So save states, let's get in there. Okay, that's the one that should give us the extra options at the bottom. And no, loading failed. Now, I tried this a few times off camera. It did experiment a little bit more. I even tried it with different games. It did not work for me. So what I want to do now is I want to do it the other way around. I want to create a save on the EverDrive, and I want to play that save on the cartridge. Right, let's just clean it up a little bit. Tell you what, it's a dust magnet. I spend most of my time cleaning this Analogue Pocket, and even then it just attracts everything. So let's just head over into training, and yeah, I'll try and do a super combo, and then I'll create a save during or just after the super combo, so there's a little bit of action, and just to see, does it actually catch it exactly where I create the save state. Okay, let's try and do the save created. Let's now turn this off, go over to our cartridge, and see if that is replicated. Now, I'm pretty confident this is going to work, but let's see if it works. Now, again, do let me know in the comments if you've been using this, what you're using it for. If you're not using it, then let me know, did you just find out about this? So again, the cartridge here. Now, I've edited some of the loading times and some of the bits just to let the video flow a little bit. So here we are, games booted up. Let's get into memories, and once we load memories, there you go. That is where I left Guile. So we are good with that. Works really, really well. Okay guys, so that brings us to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then a subscription and a like is super appreciated. Now, I experimented a little bit more on camera. You can see the Castlevania double pack there. That's just a cheap cartridge that I bought when I was ordering stuff off AliExpress. I thought, let me get it. It was very, very cheap. It was like £4 or £5 delivered. So I thought, let me get it. Now, in the Analogue Pocket, when you insert the cartridge, it plays it, but it doesn't give you the library information at the beginning like it does for my real cartridges. Now, it didn't work with the fake cart. I tried it with a variation of the flash carts, and yeah, it doesn't work. The save states work, but only within the actual cart and not on other ones. But it's really, really good. The Easy Flash Junior doesn't work for me, but with the EverDrives, you can't go wrong. You can, at least the ones that I tried, which is the Game Boy X7 and the GBA X5, you can mix and match your saves anyhow you see possible. So preserve your saves however you see fit. Also, the game color GB, a knockoff EverDrive, that worked really well. So overall, I'm very impressed with this feature. Again, a massive thank you out to TurniDow. I wasn't aware of this, so yeah, this was news to me. So I thought, let me put it together in a video because a lot of you guys do come to the channel for Analogue Pocket videos. But that is really it. If you've got other information or any other useful stuff, reach out to me on my DMs are open on Instagram and Twitter. And if you've got any suggestions for games, improvements, I'm always ears. I like engaging with you guys, so please engage. No, if I don't respond back, it's because I'm busy. Work, life, I can't respond to everything, but I try and respond to as much as I can. Anyway guys, it's always a pleasure to have you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Pixel Cherry Ninja out.